I really missed this.
Also, what you are we getting infinite emeralds? Let's go. So bad.
He yelled out for me to bring him a towel, and I playfully pretended that I couldn't hear him, signaling for him to come join me on the beach. He eventually had no choice. We were both in absolute tears thinking back to this moment. I knew it was the right time. I looked over at him and caught his gaze, suddenly very serious. Still wiping his tears of laughter away, he asked, "What's with a serious face?" "Chris," I said, "I really missed this." He took a pause before replying. "So did I, Jess." Suddenly very serious as well. I looked down at my hands, waiting for him to make the next move. Right on cue, he walked around the table and sat down next to me. He grabbed my hand and said, "Jasmine, I've been thinking, and I don't like being apart. I love you so much. And if you can promise me you won't cheat again, I think we can work through this. I'd like to get back together." With new tears in my eyes, I nodded and said, "I promise. I love you so much, and I'm so sorry. I want to be your girlfriend again." Then he leaned in for a kiss. We hugged and held one another for a while. I was so happy.
Jump
This was
boots.
all
You
I
had a
wanted.
disadvantage,
Suddenly,
buddy.
my world
It
was
takes so
complete
much
again.
problem.
My 10-step method had worked, and I felt at total ease. I would never compromise our relationship ever again.
Let's
The next day
go.
at school, it felt like we had never even broken up. We were holding hands in the hall, passing notes back and forth, and texting throughout the whole day. Life was good, and I was totally content. I didn't even mind that the science fair, my least favorite part of school, was coming up. And then I got a text from Joseph. We hadn't even talked since our kiss. Why now? What could he possibly want? Annoyed, I opened his text. "Wanna be science fair buddies?" With a winky face. "Hi, my name is Rose, and I'm from Canada. When I was just 2 years old, my dad left my mom
My
for
guy.
a richer woman. And this
My
made
guy
my mom so
Avery, man.
furious that she vowed to become super rich one day. And so, she started conning people. And life with her was never easy. We had to run from one place to another to escape from the police. And so I could never have a normal childhood. One time when I was in the 3rd grade, I insisted on settling at a place. So mom set up her astrology business in a small town near Toronto. But when people came to her with their problems, she offered them crazy solutions. "You're not getting married because there's something wrong with your planets. Don't brush your teeth for a week. Need a promotion? Walk barefoot for 3 days. He'll get blisters on his feet. Don't you stop fooling people. I have to earn lots of money, and these people are so stupid. They'll just believe anything."
Look,
She
I'll
was
do a jump back.
and obviously, none of her
Go
predictions
back in
and
front of
solutions
that.
were correct, so it didn't take much time for people to figure out that she was a fraud. So we ran from there too. And the next stop, she started selling second-hand lawnmowers in another town where she was actually paying 2 thieves to steal them from people's gardens in the first place. And I was sick of it. "This has to stop, or I'm gonna tell everyone about you." But she didn't take my warning seriously. And one day, when the police came knocking on our door, I told the officers everything I knew. They took my mom away. That's how I ended up in an adoption home. On my first day, I saw 2 girls bump into each other and fell to the ground. I wanted to help them up. "Hey, are you okay?" But she slapped my hand and pushed the other girl away. "You witch! How dare you make me fall down? Now eat some dirt!" She pushed the other girl into a puddle full of mud and then burst out laughing. She was so freaking evil. Her name was Bella, and she was the mean girl who everyone loved. One time, she stole all my books and sold them away in exchange for a funky dress. "Bella, why did you do that?" Come on. You won't become Einstein or anything by reading. Have you never been to a school before? And besides, this dress is so fab on me. This was it. I had to get my revenge. So that night, I cut the dress to pieces and gave it away to the kids to mop their dusty room. And after that day, Bella and I became arch enemies. Whenever she picked on the other kids, I would make it my mission to stand up to her. I would push a little girl after she took all her lunch. "Come on, give me those leg pieces too." I helped the little girl off the ground and kicked Bella hard in her chair. "Take this leg piece." And she fell, rolling to the ground with all the food all over her. "You witch!" She pounced on me and we broke out into a huge fight. All the kids cheered me on as we fought.
now what
wild
do I do?
cats. Warden came and pulled us apart. After that day, I became a hero at the adoption home, and this made Bella angrier than a raging bull. But thankfully, I didn't have to put up with her for too long, as she got adopted by a politician soon after. Then one day in the 8th grade, I saw a beautiful lady leave our warden's office and got into her car. That's when I noticed a diamond earring laying on the ground exactly where her car was a few seconds ago. I immediately picked it up, and without a thought, I ran after the car to give it back. Seeing me run, the car stopped at a distance. Ma'am, I think you dropped this. Oh, yes. Thank you so much, dear. It was my mom. So grateful to you. I smiled and was about to leave when the woman took some money from her purse and offered it to me. Here, please accept this as a token of thanks. No, I can't take this. What I did was the right thing to do, and I didn't do it for anything in return, ma'am. The woman gave me a big smile and drove away. A few days later, the warden informed me that I had been adopted by a super rich family, and I was shocked to see it was the same woman whose earring I had returned. Apparently, they've been super impressed by my honesty and decided to adopt me. Oh, Rose, we've always wanted a child, and when I saw you the other day, I just knew it was going to be you. She hugged me tight, and I hugged her back. Later, we drove off to my new home, and this place was like a palace, and my adoptive parents were the sweetest people on the planet. But there was one thing that bothered me, though. I had lied to my adoptive mom when she asked about my birth parents. Well, you should think about your birth parents. I mean, if you ever want to see them, no. My dad died when I was 2, and I have no memory of my
Where's your back?
and love to show off. Most of the students were fed up with her snotty attitude. They were too scared to say anything. One day, I was in the cafeteria eating my lunch when Bella came up to me looking super pissed. How dare you eat fried chicken, and that too, before the queen? Like this? Gosh, you're so stupid. Explain it to her. There are some foods that only the queen can eat, like red velvet cake, pepperoni pasta. Really? And who decided that? The queen did. Even if it's the Queen of England, I don't care. I kept munching on my food, but just then Bella came and snatched the tray away. Give this to me. Fine, take it. And I took a handful of food and stuffed it into her face. And this too. Her minions rushed to save her, and I stormed out of there. After that day, I started ignoring Bella because, honestly, I wanted to focus on my studies and wanted to make my parents proud. I even got good grades in exams and topped in math. I was slowly becoming popular in school as the nerdy cool girl who helped other students with their study, and who wasn't scared of standing up to Bella. Then a week later, I was on my way back home when I saw Bella crying outside the school parking lot, and it looked like she was in so much pain. What's wrong, Bella? Are you okay? She grabbed my leg and started begging me for help. Rose, is that you? I have asthma, and I left my pump in the car, but the driver has the keys, and I can't find him anywhere. Can you please go and get it for me? Please. Oh my God. She looked in so much pain. I immediately rushed to the car and broke the window and got the pump for her. When she caught her breath, she hugged me tight. I thought she'd finally leave me alone. But later that evening, I got a video message from Bella thanking me. But when I opened it, my eyes literally popped out when I saw it. It was a video of me breaking the car's window and taking out the asthma pump. And it was captioned, "Thief stole from the principal's car." What the heck? What was this about? I immediately called her. What the freaking fish? You said it was your car and then the pump? How do you like my surprise, moron? That is the principal's car, and my minions recorded you on camera. I can't believe I trusted a witch like you. Call me Queen from now on, you bird brain, or I'm gonna like... I found Bella waiting for me. Rose, come here. My laces are undone. Why don't you tie them up for me? I wanted to punch her so hard in the face, but I resisted the urge and did as she asked. And all the kids looked at me like I was some kind of alien. The next few days were the worst days of my life. Bella asked me to do her chores for her all the time and made me publicly apologize to her for humiliating her in the beginning. Bella is the prettiest and smartest girl in our school. She was the school and made me help her wear them in front of everyone. But I was so done with her now. Soon, we had a debate competition in school, and Mom helped me prepare for it. But the last two finalists to face off were me and Bella. And even though she asked me to let her win, I wasn't going to let my mom down. I won the last round, and as soon as I stepped off stage with my trophy, Bella went viral. The freaking dimwit. You really think you're smarter than me? It's mine. She tried to snatch it from me. But I just sidestepped and she went crashing into the wall. You're gonna pay for this, you moron! I'll show that video to the principal right now! In a fit of rage, she didn't even realize that she was still wearing the microphone. But I did, and I had a brilliant idea to get her confession. What video are you talking about? The one where my minions filmed you breaking into the principal's car, you idiot! I still can't believe how easily I fooled you into doing that! The whole auditorium heard what she said, including the principal, and Bella was put in detention for a month. But she never got the chance to trouble me again because her parents sent her to boarding school in another country. Yippee! Now, my life was moving smoothly, and I was having a blast traveling and going out with my parents. They even took me to a grand art exhibition, and I was trying to see the paintings that were getting sold for thousands of dollars. After the auction was over, the presenter introduced us to the tour, and my heart froze when I saw the woman. It was my real mom. When did she come out of jail? And what the heck was she doing here? Hi, this is my daughter, Rose.
Holy crap.
The painting I bought will go
Oh
in her
my
bedroom.
god.
Oh, your daughter, Rose. You're a lucky girl. You just got a painting worth 30 grand. 30 grand? What, the dancing dumplings? My mom didn't even know the first thing about art. And suddenly, she's an art dealer? This meant only one thing. All these paintings were fake, and she was fooling people. Later that evening, while everyone was busy looking at all the paintings, I sneaked out to warn my birth mom to keep away from my adoptive parents. Ah, Rose, my daughter, I've missed you so much. She tried to hug me, but I just pushed her away. Please, Mom, cut the drama. Aren't you ashamed of yourself? I thought maybe you'd come out of jail a better person, but you're still the same. Well, you're no saint either. I got caught because you ratted me out so that you could get rid of me and live a life of luxury. Are you insane? How could I have known that I'd get adopted by rich people? And you know what? I'm going back inside right now and tell everyone that the paintings are fake and let your parents know that you're my daughter, the daughter of a fraud. Since you didn't talk to me in front of them, I guess you never told them about me, right, Rose? Just then we heard footsteps coming in our direction, so we quickly dispersed. That night, I couldn't sleep knowing that my adoptive parents were going to be fooled by my birth mom. But then I remembered watching a news headline on TV the other day about how an anonymous call helped the police catch a wanted criminal. Bingo! So I went outside so no one could hear me and made an anonymous call to the police about what my birth mom had been up to. But when I turned around, I was shocked to see my adoptive mom standing there. Mom, what's happening, Rose? Who are you talking to on the phone? And what about the painting? At first, I was hesitant to tell her, but then I gathered all my courage and told her everything. I'm sorry that I didn't tell you before, but I was just afraid you'd hate me knowing I was the daughter of a fraud, and... Honey, it's not your fault. Whatever your mom did, it's her bad karma. But me and your dad, we both love you, and we know that you're an amazing amazing person, and you're not the daughter of some fraud. You're my daughter. Oh, Mom. 2 days later, it was reported that my birth mom got caught along with 2 other men and was sent back to prison.
Lol.
Julie shouted at me as I packed my bags. OMG, you aren't seriously going with him. What kind of freak adopts a 16-year-old? He must be a psycho. I don't know, maybe the universe is finally smiling down on me. I couldn't tell if my best friend Julie was actually scared of me.
As I entered the classroom, all the students were looking at me. They were scanning me from head to toe. Everyone was curious to know who my dad was so they could measure my social value. They looked at my shoes, clothes, and bag. I knew they criticized every single detail in my physical appearance. I looked around and saw only famous brands. They all looked well-dressed and rich. It felt as if I was attending a fashion week in Milan. I knew right away that my $10 bag wouldn't fit in such a place. I knew I was going to be asked a lot of questions and treated differently. But before I continue, hit the like and subscribe button. If you do, you'll find a fortune hidden under your bed by tomorrow morning. Trust me, it works. Hi, my name is Karen, and I am the new student. I am looking forward to knowing you all, I said with a shivering tone, when a voice replied scoffingly out of nowhere. Yeah, if you survive till the next week. It was a male's voice, but I wasn't sure of the speaker's identity. I was too nervous and just pretended not to hear his comment. I went to my seat while hoping that this day would end without any drama. I know changing schools is terrifying. Almost all students worry about their first day because they want to fit in and they are afraid of being isolated. My case was totally different. I was not only afraid to be left alone or isolated, I was afraid of exposing my real identity. As I was taking some books out of my locker, a group of girls approached me and said, "What a nice bag," with a smirky smile on their faces. I knew right away that their intentions were to insult me because my bag looked old and cheap. Yet I replied, "Thanks," confidently, and walked away. After all, I guess the mysterious voice meant them when he said, "if you survive." Honestly, though I tried to act normal, I was horrified. I was sure if they discovered my real identity, they would make me suffer like hell. Therefore, I decided to be careful and avoid everyone as much as possible. You see, I am not only poor, I don't even have a house. I live with my mother in a small room dedicated to servants. And yes, my mom is a maid and the family she works for was kind enough to let me stay with my mother at their house. It was better than renting an apartment. Before that, we used to live in a small rusty apartment which we could barely afford. My father left us when I was a baby, and my mother took full responsibility. She used to prevent herself from eating just to buy me whatever I wanted. But when my mother applied to work for the family we live with, our life changed and things got better. My mother and I lived with that family for 5 years, and they were very kind to us. When I turned 15, they offered me a job helping my mother with some chores. In return, they paid me good money so that I could afford my expenses, since I was going to be in high school. I was super excited and grateful for their generosity, but what I didn't expect was when Mr. Let's call him X offered me something unexpected after saving his life. Once when Mr. X was having lunch at his office and I was cleaning it, he choked and I rushed to help him and saved his life. If it wasn't for me, he would be seriously harmed or even dead. After that incident, he offered to transfer me to a private school that only elites could afford. He said that I am a smart kid and should be properly educated. His niece Mia attends that school and we're good friends. She always tells me how great it is to be in such a good school, and if a person graduates from it, they won't find it hard to apply to any university they want. I hesitated at first, but I also thought about our lives. I mean, this great opportunity comes once in a lifetime, and it will open new doors for me. Therefore, I accepted the offer, and Mr. X assured me that he'd pay all the expenses. Now that I've told you my secret and how I got into such a great school, let me get back to the locker story. It just did not end there. After I said thanks and left, their leader, Kara, called me. "Hey, you.
This is like my
What's
first
your name
time
again,
getting
Carla?"
balloons.
Karen, I replied. She walked towards me, asking in front of everyone, "Well, tell us about your family. What does your father do?" I felt my body shaking. I wasn't ready for such a question. I started sweating and looking around, trying to think of something to say. I was afraid to confess, but at the same time, I was also afraid to get caught telling lies. When suddenly I heard someone say, "He's a very successful businessman. He's super rich, but he spends his time abroad. And Karen likes to volunteer after school so she doesn't wear fancy clothes all the time. She's very consistent considerate, you know. That's what Mia said while walking in our direction. That squad felt irritated by what Mia said and walked away. Mia immediately grabbed my hand and walked me outside. She apologized for lying, but she explained that if she didn't step in, those girls would eat me alive. She explained about the school system and how things work at this great school. She told me about the hierarchical triangle and what would happen if they felt that someone was different and didn't fit in with their social status. I was terrified. I mean, how could I survive in such a place? I burst into tears and wanted to just quit and get back to my old school, but I thought about my mother. Her words kept repeating themselves in my head. I'm proud of you. You are the best daughter ever. I know you are going to be a great person in the future. These phrases pressured me to death, and I felt that my mother would be disappointed in me. So I just decided that I had to man up and fight for my future. Mia promised to help me as well. I was so relieved knowing that she did this for me. When I walked back to class, everyone was whispering. I knew they were talking about me, but what made things worse is when Toby approached me and asked in front of everyone to meet him outside. Toby is Kara's brother. He is a very good-looking guy and super attractive. I mean, most of the guys look good at this school, which made me wonder why almost all rich people are good-looking. I followed him like a puppy dog while wondering why he asked to talk to me privately. Why me? We stood in the hallway and he came closer to me. I felt like my heart was going to jump out of my chest at that moment. He whispered in my ear, "Wow, you're good at doing what people tell you to do. I know your little secret. I've been to Mr. X's house a couple of times, you know, and I saw you there." I froze. I didn't know what to say. I just felt like I was going to pee in my pants any minute, so I just ignored him and rushed to the bathroom before embarrassing myself even more. I closed the bathroom door and cried there. I didn't want anyone to see me. I didn't want to look like a weak person. Honestly, I was terrified. What does he mean by that? Is he going to take advantage of me now? What should I do? I called Mia immediately and told her what had happened. She was shocked. She told me that Toby is worse than his sister, and I should try and avoid him as much as possible. I went back to class feeling horrified, yet he wasn't there, which made me feel better. But when he entered the classroom, he kept on looking at me all the time. I was trying very hard to concentrate and avoid making any eye contact. The next day, Mia loaned me some of her stuff to look better. She thought it would distract people's attention when they realized that I was just a normal student like them. She was such a great person. She brought me the most beautiful bag I'd ever seen, some accessories, and wonderful designer shoes. And when I walked to school that day, I felt triumphant. People will finally leave me alone, I thought, but I was wrong. When I entered the classroom, I saw Kara standing there waiting for me. She said, "Hi, new student. Love the new look since you look good enough. And as Mia said, you have a great mansion. Why don't you invite us to your house? It's kind of a new student's ritual. Every new student has to throw a party and invite all of our classmates." I stood there speechless. I didn't know what to say. What should I do? I felt my heart racing and my body trembling. And what made things worse is when I saw Toby standing in the corner smirking. I took a deep breath and finally said, "Yes, I would love to. But meanwhile, we are moving to a bigger house. Once we're done moving, I'll invite all of you." I hoped the conversation would end with this sentence. However, it did not. Kara didn't buy my pathetic lie and said, "It's all right. We can come today after school just to hang out. And then you'll throw us another party once you move to your bigger house." And she was stressing the word bigger. I immediately knew what was going on. I was sure that Toby told her what happened yesterday and exposed my real identity. She wants to embarrass me in front of everyone. I was on the edge of collapsing when suddenly Toby said, "Hey sis," and I thought about whether to pass out or run because I knew the moment Toby opened his mouth, my life was over. Yet surprisingly, he continued and said, "I don't feel like partying at her house today. I was thinking about throwing her a welcome party at our house." He walked towards me, put his arms on my shoulders, and winked at me. I immediately replied, "Yes, that would be great," while smiling anxiously. Kara's face turned red and everyone was shocked. I was shocked as well, yet desperate at the same time. But all I thought about back then was to get myself out of this mess in any possible way. During the lesson, all I thought about was Toby's reaction. I mean, why did he help me and stop his sister from embarrassing me? I glanced at him a couple of times, and every time I looked, I saw him glancing back at me. I felt a bit uncomfortable, yet I was blushing at the same time. He is so cute, and when he winked at me, my heart melted. I snapped back to reality when the teacher knocked on my desk, waking me up from my daydreaming, while telling me to wipe my drooling and pay attention. After class, I told Mia what happened, and she was shocked as well. However, she promised to help me and even suggested we go to the party together in her fancy car. However, she told me that what Toby did was unexpected and confusing. When Mia and I arrived at the party, I didn't expect what was going to happen that night. I didn't know that my life would turn upside down. When I thought Toby was going to help me, I was wrong. Their evil genes are way too strong to have kindness in them. After a while, when almost all the school was there, Kara made an announcement and told everyone that she had a surprise for me. She invited me to the stage in front of everyone and called a maid to bring a special drink that was made especially for me. And when the maid approached me holding the drink, my heart stopped. It was my mom. That evil brat. She hired my mother to humiliate both of us. Mia was standing among the crowd and looked worried. She was surprised to see my mother there as well. I stared at my mother and I knew that she felt something was wrong, so she acted as if she didn't know me. I looked at Kara and saw the evilish look she had on her face. I knew that she planned for more. Kara walked towards my mother and poured her drink on her as if it was an accident. That's when I couldn't take it anymore and pushed Kara away. I helped my mother clean herself up and said in front of everyone, "This woman is my mother, and I won't let anyone treat her badly. She's a maid and I am proud. She dedicated her entire life to raising me and to giving me the best life ever. Having her as my mother is worth more than all of your fortune." I grabbed her arm and walked outside with